This is User Manager Pro, an overall management and reporting solution allowing you to make changes to users, groups, rights, audit settings, registry settings, security policies, as well as extensive, interactive, storable, and schedulable reporting. Your initial setup of the tool requires two things. You need to create groups of machines to manage, and those groups are reflective of whatever it is you want them to be reflective of, whether it's OU structure, administrative structure of the organization, geography, you name it. And then once you've created those groups of machines to manage, you need to populate those groups with machines to manage. This is the first screen you'll see every single time you open up User Manager Pro, and this is where we're going to create those groups of machines to manage, and you have a number of different options of how you do so. You can click on Add, you can right-click, or you can come up to the Groups drop-down list, and you have a couple of different group types to choose from. You can add a simple group, or you can add a dynamic group. We'll start with a simple group, which is exactly what it sounds like, a simple group. And so you type in a name and a comment if you like, and once you click on OK, that will take you inside your system's dialog screen. So here we are. We're inside the group now, and this is where we are going to add our machines to the group for management purposes. And just like what we saw on the first screen, you have a number of different options of how to do so. You can come over here to your Systems List buttons. You can right-click and you can add systems to the group, or you can come to your Systems List drop-down list, and you have a number of different choices of how to add machines to the group for management purposes. You can add from a domain systems list. This would be everything that you would see in your PDC or PDC emulator. You can also add from a simple network browse, which simply allows you to browse according to the standard network neighborhood architecture of Windows. You can add from a shell network browser, would be akin to everything that you would see in My Network Places. You can add from a manual name entry, so if you know the correct spelling of the NetBIOS names of the machines and you want to type them in manually, feel free to do so. You can also add from the Active Directory Picker, which just allows you to get real specific with the source and Active Directory you want to add from. So let's say, as an example, you wanted to add the machines to your group from a specific LDAP path, from a specific container. You can do exactly that. You can also scan an IP range for systems. To scan an IP range, click on Add, and you can put in a specific address and it will calculate the range of addresses, or you can put in a start and stop range of addresses you wish User Manager Pro to scan for you. Then once you have put in your ranges, you can simply select the range that you wish to scan. As a recommendation, you may want to come over here and select Include All Systems Found Regardless of Access. This is just great for finding those machines that find their way onto your network via network creep. A previous staff person had put machines in the far corner of your network and neglected to document them very well, or someone brings in a laptop and puts it on your network and doesn't tell you about it. It's just great for finding all of those machines that exist on your network even if you don't have administrative access to them. Then once you have run your scan, you can elect to export these selected machines into your groups via the NetBIOS name or the TCP IP address. And finally, you can add machines to your group by importing them from a text file, or you can import them from an Active Directory export file. You can create as many groups as you like, and you can have a machine in as many groups as you like. And as quickly as you can create a group, you can remove a group, and it's gone. And the other kind of group that you can create is called a dynamic group. And a dynamic group simply allows you to automate the process of adding machines to groups for management purposes, and it does so based on a set of conditional parameters that you specify to the tool. And each one of these tabs up here is a conditional parameter. Each one of these is an AND statement. So let's say you decide the machines in your group, you wish for them to be a member of this domain, and so you choose your domain. And you wish for them to fall within this IP address range. That's the screen we just looked at. And you get the idea. It's the summation of the parameters you have specified for membership in that group. You can also create explicit inclusion lists, so if certain machines might not be picked up in the parameters of the scan and you want them included in that group, you can explicitly include them. Conversely, you can also create explicit exclusion lists, so if certain machines might be picked up in the parameters of the scan and you do not want them included in that group, such as a certain sensitive server or domain controller you do not wish messed with, you can explicitly exclude it as well. You can filter according to platforms. So let's say in one group you decide you want just your 2003 servers in there, and in another you want just your XP workstations. And finally you can control how often the group is updated, and conversely how often machines are decommissioned after they fall out of the scope of management. and that would be a dynamic group. Once you have populated your group with machines, this is what you're going to see. As you can see, we have a variety of Windows platform types in our group. We handle all Windows platforms from NT4 through Vista, with no separate suites for clients, servers, or domain controllers. We handle them all. Now you can see an awful lot of information about your machines, from IP address to MAC address to domain membership and more. Now if you wish to manage your network, the logic of how you commit an action against a machine is you simply select a machine, or you can do selected machines, or you can do them all. And also the logic of what you're doing is if you wish to commit a local action against a machine, select a local machine. If you wish to commit a domain action against your network, select a domain controller. The only thing that we do wish to remind you of is that if you have more than one domain controller in the same group, like let's say that all three of these were domain controllers. If I was going to commit a domain action, let's say I was going to add a domain user account, we would recommend that you just select a domain controller. It's probably just as easy to remember the one marked PDC and allow for replication, because if all three of these were domain controllers and I had selected them all and added that domain user account, I would be adding them all to all three domain controllers at the same time. Raises the potential for errors. So just select a domain controller and allow for replication. Or I could select all of the machines, and I would be creating a local account on all of these locally selected machines, and I had selected a domain controller, and I would be creating a domain account. So this is a management and a reporting solution. So let's start by taking a look at some of the management aspects of the tool, and then we'll take a look at some of the reporting aspects of the tool. For our management functions, let's start by focusing on the buttons under the category of information to set. Now you can do all that and more by right-clicking, or you can also come up to the drop-down list up above. But for now, we'll start just by focusing on the buttons. If we want to add users to our local machines or to our domain, we simply select the desired targets and select the Users button. So here we are inside the Users dialog screen, and this is where it is that we add, update, delete user accounts. So let's go ahead and let's add an account for a user named John. We can give John a full name, we can give him a description, add a comment to his account, give him a fixed password. We can also set his account type, and any of the various account flags as well. We can give his account an expiration date, or none. We can create roaming profiles, including using environmental variables to do so, assign logon scripts, home directories, VPN, dial-in settings. But at the same time, we may say, hey, we don't only need to create an account for John, but let's create an account for a user named Sue. So I'm going to click the ellipses button next to my username field, and let's create that account for Sue. And let's create one for Dan. Once I click on OK, I notice in the username field that the username has now changed to multiple. So we're going to be creating multiple accounts all at the same time with the same password parameter. So that means I'm going to select user must change password at next logon. But we can also set the Active Directory specific fields, including OU targeting. So let's make them all a member of the management OU. And there's your LDAP path. You can also create Exchange accounts, and you can also add users to specific groups, domain or local. So now that we're ready to add our user accounts, let's go ahead and click on Apply. So we are creating 30 accounts. We have selected 10 targets, and we are creating 3 local accounts on all the locally selected machines. We selected a domain controller, so we selected and created 3 domain accounts. 30 accounts in 9 seconds. It's that fast and that's stable. We can delete user accounts in the same fashion that User Manager Pro added them. And when we re-enter the Users dialog screen, we see that it remembered the last thing we did. So all we have to do is select Delete from our action list. This is what we call the fit and finish aspect of Lieberman Software Management Solutions. Once I click on Apply, my user accounts are deleted in all of 2 seconds. Again, it's that fast and that stable. Now, not only can you add and delete accounts, but you can also update accounts, including all of your built-in local default administrator accounts and their passwords, one of the biggest security risks administrators must contend with. IT personnel usually give all of their built-in administrator accounts distributed credentials across their network, so you can go around and get on your machines and work if you need to. Understandable. Microsoft Best Practices says to change those passwords every 30 days. A daunting task. Hackers can use anything that they find on any of their search engines, and if they compromise just one of your machines, then they've got peer-to-peer access to part or all of your network. They've got the keys to the kingdom, so that's where we come in. You can change all of your built-in local default administrator accounts and their passwords by selecting Update and entering *A in the username field, and User Manager Pro will grab a hold of all of your built-in local default administrator accounts via the SID, not the name. So regardless if you've renamed your accounts various names for security purposes, we can still grab them all. You can give it a fixed password, or you can also create a cryptographically unique password using our Random Password Generator add-on. And using the Random Password Generator add-on, you can control the parameters that create the passwords. You can actually create cryptographically unique passwords on anything that is Windows 2000 and above of up to 127 characters if you like, and it will create all of these cryptographically unique passwords on each of the individual accounts. Let's take a look at NT, which is 14. I'm going to select OK, and we have selected Save Passwords for Retrieval, which will save the passwords in a 56-bit DES-encrypted password-protected file for you, the managers and administrators of the network. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Apply, and in all of 4 seconds we have just randomized all of our administrator accounts. Now, if we want to see those passwords, we can come up to the Manage drop-down list and look in Password Recovery, and this comes shipped with a built-in password that you can change to one of your liking. And here we can see all of our administrator accounts that we just randomized. Again, saved in a 56-bit password-protected encrypted file for you as the administrators and managers of the network. And notice that all of these actions are schedulable. That means you could schedule to randomize your passwords once a day, once a week, once a month if you like. That way, if a hacker hacks one of your accounts, that's all the further they're going to go because the next one has been randomized. By the time they hack that one, the previous one has been re-randomized. All the while you have a record of what those passwords are. 56-bit encrypted password-protected file for you, the managers of the network. And all of the actions in the user screen are schedulable. The other option you have for user management capabilities in User Manager Pro is the ability to add, update, and delete users en masse from a data source such as, say, an HR database or a text file. You'll find this in the Manage drop-down list. This was designed with Active Directory in mind, ergo you can only select one machine at a time as a target, so select your domain controller and allow for replication. After you've selected your target and the action that you wish to take, you need to tell User Manager Pro where and what your data source is. If you have a pre-existing database, again such as an HR database containing user information, select the bottom radio button and input the location. If you have another data source, say such as a text file, simply tell User Manager Pro where your data source is and what the format of its structure is. As an example, I have a basic text file. And I told User Manager Pro that the first row was headers, not data, and that I used a comma delimiter to separate the values in the text file. Test the connection to data, and you know you're connected and formatted correctly to suit your user management needs. Select OK and OK, and this is where we are able to map our data source into the various fields as we see fit. Here we see all of the various user attributes that we are able to fulfill based on the data in our data source. You can take your data source and plug it into the user attributes to suit your user creation and management needs. Let's begin by deciding what our username attribute will be as we draw it from our text file. So select the drop-down arrow from Set Type and decide what source in your text file you wish to use to create all of your usernames. Let's use a column in the data source, and we will use the first name to create all of our usernames. For our passwords, we could elect to use a static value, but then everyone would have the same password. So we could use a column in our data source say, such as a column with the social security numbers in there, to create a unique password for each individual account. Or we could elect to build a dynamic value based on the data in our data source. Here we can build arguments to fulfill our password attribute. So let's say from the data source column, we'll use the first name column, and we'll use the first 2 characters. Let's add a new argument. From data source column, from the last name column, we'll use the first 3 characters. And you can monitor your progress up top. Let's select OK, and let's preview the operation. And so now we can see that all of our usernames will be all of our first names, and all of our passwords are dynamic values created based on the data in the data source. So John Smith's password will now be Joe Smee, Susie Jones will be Sue John, Dave Miller will be Da Mill, etc., etc. And you can do so for every single user attribute, including OU targeting. Select OK, and when you're ready to add, update, or delete your user accounts, select OK again. Multi-user add, another great feature in User Manager Pro. To manage your local groups and memberships, select the targets, and remember the logic of the tool we discussed earlier. If you select a local machine, you are managing local groups. If you select a domain controller, you're managing domain local groups. So, you've selected your targets. Let's select the Local Groups button. This is where we add, update, and delete said group. So let's add a group, and we'll call it the Tech group. Click Apply, and in 2 seconds we've created all of our local and domain local groups. Another great feature is User Manager Pro's ability to delete all except required groups. Let's say that you have certain groups that you wish to exist on your machines, and those are the only groups that should ever exist on your machines. So you select the groups that you wish to exist on your machines now. Any other groups that are being created on your machines outside of your list are groups that are being created by users or lower powered administrators that have no business to do so. So you select the groups you wish to exist on your machines, click on Apply, and any groups outside of your list of groups are going to be gone, and only these groups are going to exist now. And you could schedule this to run on a recurring basis, and User Manager Pro will be constantly house cleaning for you. You're going to know what exists on your machines at any given time. Global groups are just like local groups, except global. Active Directory only. Same logic, same functionality. So far, we have looked at managing users and the groups we manage those users in. So, now let's take a look at managing the membership of those groups. So, select your targets and the Local Members button. And this is where it is that we can add members to or remove members from the specified group. Simply type in or browse using the ellipses button for the group whose membership you wish to affect, and do the same for the users you wish to add, remove, or replace the members list with. Now here's a perfect example of the use of this functionality. Have you ever been in a situation where you have legacy apps in your environment which require users to be local administrators on their machines? Not exactly a desirable situation. Sometimes software vendors will realize the security issues this raises and will no longer require users to be local administrators with the latest upgrade of their application. After you upgrade, you no longer wish your users to be local administrators. So you select the users you wish to be local administrators now, and select Replace Members with List button, and Apply, and all users not included in your member list will no longer be members of the local administrators group. You can also go a step further, and you can move all members except those in the member list to an alternate local group. And it doesn't have to be a built-in group. You can make them a member of any group that you desire. And User Manager Pro will even create the group if it's missing and move them into it. And it's all schedulable. Global members are just like local members, but global, Active Directory only. Same logic, same functionality. Selecting Rights takes you inside the Rights dialog screen. The list of available rights to add, delete, or replace to your specified users or groups is listed up top. As with most functions in User Manager Pro, it's fully schedulable. Policies allow you to manage your password policies on local machines and domain controllers. You can set password restrictions as well as lockout strategy. The auditing features and capabilities of User Manager Pro are extensive and allow you to manage your audit needs on all of your machines from a centralized location. Let's examine the capabilities now. To turn auditing on and off, select your targets and select Auditing. Here, you can select to turn auditing on and off, success or failure in any of the specified categories. You can even control what happens should your security event logs become full. Allow any account to log on, allow only an administrator account to log on. You can even send them a stop error and say, listen, I'm sorry, you can't log on to my machines until I clear my security event logs. That's a security risk and I can't have it. You can also schedule to turn auditing on or off at the desired times you wish to audit the security of your network. Remember, if you try to use group policy for auditing, it's not schedulable. You must remember to turn it on and then to turn it off. Through User Manager Pro, you don't have to bother with creating group policy objects either. We go right to the source. Together with our ability to control audit settings through the Auditing button, User Manager Pro offers the ability to manage all of your event logs from a centralized location. Simply select the machines whose event logs you wish to manage and select the event log settings from the Manage drop-down list. Here, you choose the event log you wish to manage. You can manage its maximum size, its behavior should it become full, does it overwrite itself, does it not, when does it overwrite itself. You can even clear your event logs all from a centralized location. This is a huge time saver. No one's idea of a good time is going around clearing event logs one machine at a time. You don't have to do that here. Select the machines you wish to clear, select Clear the Event Log, and Apply, and you're on to other things. In addition to the myriad of other features we've already discussed, User Manager Pro will allow you to edit the registries of all of your machines from a single screen. Begin by selecting the machines to edit. Select regedit. And here, you may run regedit 4 or regedit 5 files. Simply type in the path or browse for it. You can also edit the single keys and values. But one of its most powerful features is the ability to treat HKeyCurrentUser as all users when pushing changes to systems. Let's say you get some kind of a rogue registry key that's created on your machines by a virus or spyware. You go and you edit the current user's profile. But if more than one user profile exists on your target machines and somebody else comes along and logs on to that machine, what happens? That's right, it just reinfects itself and you've got to clean the whole thing up all over again. But here, you edit the current user's profile, select Treat HKeyCurrentUser as all users when pushing changes to systems, and User Manager Pro is going to do exactly that. It's going to go through and it's going to open every single user profile that exists on all of your machines, including the default user profile, mount the ntuser.dat file, and make all of those changes to all of those user profiles all from one single screen. And if you have more than one user profile that exists on your machines, it's easy to miss a profile. That's just human. Not here. We're going to get them all for you. And you can reboot systems after registry changes are applied if you need to. You can send them a message and how long you want to give them. This will force an orderly shutdown of any open applications before a machine is rebooted, and you can choose to reboot or not. All of it from one single screen. In addition to editing your registries en masse from a centralized location, you can set or edit permissions on your registry keys for a quick, easy, centralized method of securing access to some of the most important parts of your machines. Select the machines you wish to secure, select the Registry Permissions button, simply select the keys upon which you wish to set permissions, and you can edit permissions on accounts you've previously set or add new ones. Simply type in the account name or browse for it. Select Grant, Deny, Full Control, Read, Other. Select OK and Apply, or you can schedule the securing of your network. It couldn't be easier. User Manager Pro includes a full audit trail of all actions committed by the tool since the beginning of its use. All actions are recorded in chronological order from initial installation to the most recent action you've committed against your network. A full audit trail, and audit trails are good things. Do you have to manage multiple domains? Perhaps you have a hybrid environment, a workgroup or standalone servers attached to your domain. Under the Settings menu, you'll find User Manager Pro's ability to express alternate administrator credentials. User Manager Pro will always try to access all of your machines given your current logged-on credentials. If it comes to a machine and it can't access that given your current logged-on credentials, you can express alternate administrator credentials to User Manager Pro. And then User Manager Pro will go down through its list of alternate administrator credentials until it finds the first set of credentials it can access that machine with. Then it will continue on, and if it can't get into any other machines, it will go down through the list until it finds the first set it can access those machines with. That way you don't have to log on and log back off with different sets of credentials to try to access your machines. It's just like having multiple Run As accounts work dynamically in the background for you. We're going to keep you moving. Lieberman Software utilizes the Scheduler service, giving you the ability to schedule all management actions offered to you by User Manager Pro. Simply install a set of credentials into the Scheduler service, which have administrative rights over all machines you wish to manage. Now you can schedule your jobs to take place. User Manager Pro also offers Auto Retry. Anytime you make changes to your network, if you have any machines which are offline, like servers down for maintenance, laptops checked down, what have you, User Manager Pro will run in the background checking for those machines for when they come back online, and when they do come back online, it will complete your management actions for you. It will, by default, retry an unlimited number of times every 5 minutes until it nails all of those machines. And you obviously have granular control over those settings. Nothing goes unfinished with User Manager Pro. On the Manage drop-down list, you'll find Lieberman Software's own patent-pending technology, cratering. This is our own unique ability to lock out malicious files such as viruses and spyware. Antivirus companies do a good job, but they're reactive in nature, and we've all been in situations where something malicious is coming around and you know about it, but you don't have a definition for it yet. But as long as you know the name of the malicious file, you don't have to wait with User Manager Pro. You can go to your antivirus provider, the web, or any source of knowledge and get the name of the file and import it into User Manager Pro. And User Manager Pro will set a full control deny to the Everyone group against all of the malicious files, so nothing, nobody, no how can open it, run it, or propagate it. It's done. You may remember when Blaster was coming around. If you had that in one or two of your machines, it'd run the table on you in a heartbeat. With User Manager Pro, if it does not exist in your machines yet, or a portion of your machines yet, we'll insert an empty dummy file into your machines and set a full control deny to the Everyone group against those. So they can't insert themselves, they see themselves as already existing. They can't run, they're done. You can lock out files in Active Directory, but only executables, and they can still be renamed. Malicious files come in all types. If you lock it out in User Manager Pro, it's done. Under the Manage drop-down list, you will find User Manager Pro's ability to push out patches and files under Push Run Application. Select the Copy Files to Machines tab and select Add. And here, you will add the local source and destination paths you wish to push patches from locally to all of your selected machines. And don't forget your ability to use variables for substitutions. The local source and destination file paths will then clearly be reflected. And you can select to run the said application immediately or later. It should be noted that the push and run abilities of User Manager Pro are capable of pushing out those files that can run quietly in the background and passively without any kind of a user session. Push and run from User Manager Pro. The miscellaneous drop-down list offers many additional management functions, including the ability to reboot machines, send messages using the messenger service, send wake on LAN packets. User Manager Pro will even help you to physically identify machines in hard-to-find locations such as servers mislabeled in server racks or, say, workstations in a maze of cubicles by either playing music out of the built-in speaker or ejecting the CD-ROM tray. User Manager Pro will allow you to open a remote connection to a machine. If you wish to work in the background, you can open a terminal service connection. Or, if you wish to work interactively, you can open a VNC connection. Simply download Real or Tight VNC onto the same machine that you have User Manager Pro installed on, and download VNC Pass from our website onto the same machine as well. Under VNC Options, you can select to create a random password or use a fixed password, and User Manager Pro will enclose the password in a capsule and hash it back and forth between the target machine and this machine. And then, User Manager Pro will install the service, start the service, stop the service, and uninstall the service in the background every single time you connect after you configure it to do so. That way you don't have to leave it installed on your target machines. Select the machine you wish to connect to, select Auto Open VNC, and thus we are on the desktop. Not only does User Manager Pro offer extensive, schedulable, and interactive reporting, it's also storable. So make sure to set up your reporting data store first. You can configure this via the Settings drop-down list on the initial group screen of User Manager Pro, or inside the group dialog screen where we are presently. You can also access it via the Reporting drop-down list. The initial iteration of the tool, and the default setting of User Manager Pro, stores your reports in the registry of the User Manager Pro installation. However, we've given you the option of storing your reports in SQL or MSDE, and we would recommend this setting as it is a much more dynamic method of storing your reports. If you don't have SQL, Lieberman Software provides an MSDE installer on our website that you can download for free as a courtesy to our valued customers. Once you've finished installing SQL or MSDE, simply input the name of the machine upon which you've installed your data store. Tell User Manager Pro what kind of authentication your data store requires. You can use an existing database, or User Manager Pro will even create and connect to a new database for you. How's that for convenience? Now that we've finished examining the multitude of management features User Manager Pro has to offer, and have our reporting data store configured, let's take a look at the reporting features of the tool. As with the management functionality of the tool, you begin by selecting the machines you wish to report on. You can access the management aspects of the tool by right-clicking, through the Reporting drop-down list, or through the Get Info button. Self-explanatory, right? Now let's take a look at all the reporting capabilities available to you. Our reporting dialog screen has conveniently grouped all of the major report types into categories. Simply select the drop-down arrows to open the categories to all of the report types available to you. Our extensive user reporting capabilities are found under the Accounts category of the Reporting dialog screen, and you have a couple of different user report types to choose from: a basic user report and an advanced users report. Select your report type, select Report, and choose the various attributes you wish to include in your report. Again, select Report. Here we see the results of our Advanced Users Report, including username, password age, primary group membership, a description if you've given it to that account, any of the various account flags. You can see home directory, profile paths, logon script paths if you're using logon scripts, You can also see last logon time, and understand what you're looking at here is machine specific. That means you can see the last time they logged on to your domain as well as locally. And if you have more than one domain controller in your network, it's impossible to see the last time they logged on to your domain, because you don't know which domain controller you log on to. It's first come, first serve, and that information is not replicated between the domain controllers. So you would select all of your domain controllers and run the report, and you would see the last time they logged on to said domain controller. If they're logging on locally, you'll see that as well. If you have created an account and it has not been logged on to yet, User Manager Pro will show you that as well. You can see account expiration, bad password count, so you can see if anyone is trying to hack into your network. Starting from the first name column over, we see all of the various Active Directory attributes, and everything to the right of the first name column will be all of your Active Directory attributes if you have included that in your user's report. Many of our reports are interactive. Let's say you see the results of your report and you see an account that you don't recognize. Let's say Zeek. And you say to yourself, well, I don't know who Zeek is. I didn't create a Zeek in my network. Guess what? Zeek's gone. You can delete Zeek from your machines and your network directly from the report itself. Let's say you don't know who an account is, but you want to find out, so you disable him. Then you go and find out that is a malicious account. You call up your stored reports found under the reporting drop-down list and delete that account directly from your stored reports. Our stored reports are interactive as well. Interactive reporting from Lieberman Software. We give you the knowledge and the power. Let's take some information and export it. You can export the entire report, or you can select a portion of it to export. Select Export Report. You can choose which columns you wish to include in your report. You can export it into, let's say, an Excel file or an HTML file. You can merely create the file. You can view the report, print it, execute a program from it. So let's say, pending the successful creation of an Excel file, you want some kind of a program to run. You can email it. You can email it as an attachment. And remember that our reports are also schedulable. So let's say you have vacation time coming, but the boss still needs to see a report from you. You can schedule the report to run, have it emailed to him. You're at the beach. Let's take a look at an HTML report. And notice that I have checked highlighted selected, which means I will only be exporting that which I have selected in my report. Let's take a look. Here's the body of the report, a record of the account that created the report, a day and time stamp. You put your logo up here and you look real good to the boss. User Manager Pro can report on and remove all of your obsolete machine accounts. Simply select your domain controller, Get Info, Accounts, and select Trust Accounts Report. All Windows machines 2000 and above change their trust account passwords with the domain controller in the background every 30 days. If you notice a machine with an extremely old password, it's most likely been renamed or taken off the network, and the account needs to be closed for the security of your network. Simply right-click on the machine account in question and delete the trust account. We recommend you confirm the absence of your machine before deleting it. You may wish to print out your report, confirm the account is obsolete, call up your stored report, and delete it from your stored report. Need to see who is currently logged on? No problem. User Manager Pro can deliver that information for you. You can create a basic logged on accounts report or an advanced logged on accounts report. And with an advanced report, you can also choose to include system and machine accounts. You can even see which domain controller you authenticated through. At Lieberman Software, we don't leave anything out. As a common security practice, you need to monitor the groups and their memberships in your network. Let's start by finding out what groups exist on our machines. Remember the logic of User Manager Pro we discussed earlier. Select your targets. And if you select local machines, you will be reporting on the local groups. If you select a domain controller, you will be reporting on your domain local groups. So select your targets and Get Info, and you may choose to run a local groups report or a global groups report. Just remember, if you run a global groups report, you only need to select your domain controllers. No information will be reported for non-domain controllers. It's just Active Directory. It's global. Let's run a local groups report. Couldn't be easier. Now stick around, let's run another report and see what group memberships we have. One of the biggest security needs administrators have is the need to be able to report on the membership of their groups. You have many options with User Manager Pro. You can create a basic local group membership report, an advanced local group membership report, a basic global membership report, as well as an advanced global membership report. Just remember, global reports are just like local reports, but only report on Active Directory memberships. Domain controllers only. Let's run an advanced local membership report. Select it and select Report. Now you can create a report on a specific group and its membership, or all groups, or you can do the exact opposite of reporting on a specific group's membership. You can report on the groups that a specific user is a member of. Let's run a report on the membership of a specific group, specifically the local administrators group. Now notice we can also include indirect members. You can also include nested indirect members. We give it all to you. Let's run that report. Here we see that Dave Chavez is a direct member of the local admins group. And here we see that Dave Chavez is a member of the domain admins group, which is a member of the local admins group. You can see the entire tree and path of how someone attains group membership. And if someone has inadvertently attained group membership you didn't intend for them to have, you can remove them, or you can move them. There's no end to the options you have with User Manager Pro. Nothing could be more difficult than trying to keep track of all of your files, shares, and NTFS permissions on your entire network. With User Manager Pro, that doesn't have to be. We group all of those under the Files category of our reporting screen. You can run a report on all of your shares, an advanced report on all of your shares. You can report on all of your files, as well as all of your NTFS permissions. Let's take a closer look at these reporting options. Let's start by examining our share reporting capabilities. You have two options to choose from for reporting on all of your network shares: Basic and Advanced. A basic shares report will allow you to report on all of your basic shared resources, excluding any special shares. An advanced shares report gives you the option to report on all of your special shares, many additional options, as well as report on all of your share permissions. If we see someone has attained share permissions we didn't intend for them to have, or you see someone has created a share and let's say they are illegally sharing music downloads, guess what? You can delete that share directly from the report itself, or edit those share permissions directly from the report itself. At Lieberman Software, we put the power in your hands. Need to know if a file exists? Need to know a lot of information about it? Want the ability to find it, delete it, or make sure it never comes back? No problem. User Manager Pro can deliver that to you. It's all available to you in our Configure Files report. You can tell User Manager Pro of an explicit list of files to check for. You can tell User Manager Pro where to start looking for a specific file. You can include subdirectories. You can also filter for specific file names. If you wish to report on more than one file, just insert a semicolon. You can also use wildcards in here. Let's say *.mp3 will also give you a whole lot more information. Let's take a look. You can see archive bits, hidden bits, reparse points, and you can see creation time, last access time, and last write time. So let's say you have liabilities in your network you need to account for. Well, let's say someone has downloaded music illegally. They may state that they don't know how it got into their computer. Well, thanks to User Manager Pro, you know when they were logged on. You can see when the file was created, when it was last accessed, when it was last written to. You can see a whole lot more as well. Let's say you have some kind of a file in your machines and you no longer want that file in your machines. You wish to clean your network up. You can delete it out of your machines directly from the report itself. Or we've given you another option. Remember, our cratering, that's our own patent-pending technology, our own ability to set a full control deny to the everyone group against any kind of file that you wish. So it may be something you never wish to come back. We've given you options, and we've given you power, only from Lieberman Software. We can report on all of your NTFS permissions, no matter how many you have, no matter how many machines you have. Our NTFS permissions reporting requires that you configure the reporting data store to use SQL or MSDE. We then use virtual viewing to dynamically display only the portion of the report you wish to see on your screen by pulling it out of the data store on the fly. This means you can create a report of unlimited size. Tell User Manager Pro where you wish it to enumerate the report from, and any subdirectories you wish for it to ignore. You then have a number of options. You can create a simple report showing only the divergent items. These will be all of the permissions that have been set other than inherited permissions. You can also create a simple report showing the DACL entries for any of the files and folders. And finally, you can create a custom report, giving you the option to choose that which you wish to include in the report, including an inheritance column, which will show you all of the inherited permissions, as well as a notes column, which will show you any of the redundantly set permissions, meaning permissions that have been explicitly set even though they were already inherited. Let's take a look. Here we see all of the files and folders enumerated from the directory we told User Manager Pro to report on. All of these columns are sortable. A couple of good ones are, well, let's say the accounts column, as well as the inheritance column. So you can see all of your permissions that were explicitly set by you, the administrators of the network, as well as all of the permissions that were inherited. Here we see all of the files and folders within the Systems32 directory that we ran our report on. We can see that the users group, well, they have read and execute. We can see that the power users, they have modify, read, write, execute, and D is the special delete permission within modify that allows you to be able to actually modify an object. We can see that administrators have full control permission as well as ownership. And please note that down here ***, what this means is that all the files within the 1033 directory for the users group have read and execute permission. So that means there's no need to list all of the files separately. It would be a waste of time and space. And guess what? You can edit your NTFS permissions directly from the report itself. Let's take a look here. We see that the users, they have read and execute, so the users, they have read and execute. We can see that power users have modify, and administrators, they have full control. And don't forget, you can also export these reports, just like we discussed earlier in the demo. If you need to edit your permissions later on, well, just call up your stored report and edit your NTFS permissions directly out of your stored report. There's no end to the options you have with our reporting capabilities. Under the installed software category, you will find two options available to you. A basic Windows patch report, which will allow you to report on all of your non-slipstream service packs and hotfixes, as well as an advanced Windows report, which will give you the opportunity to choose between a Windows patch report, to report on all of your IE service packs and hotfixes, which is not reflected in add remove programs, by the way, or to choose to filter for specific updates on your machines. Let's view that report. Having run a filtered service pack report, we see all of the machines which have this patch on them. So let's highlight the content of our report and select Highlight Selected. And notice what has happened. We have highlighted all of the machines which contain this patch. So we can simply invert what we have selected and use User Manager Pro to push out the patch to all of the other machines to which it is applicable, all through the centralized location of User Manager Pro. Need to see everything installed on all of your machines? No problem. You will find the ability to report on everything via add remove programs on your target machines here. If you find something installed on your target machines you wish to remove, we will show you the uninstall commands, or remember, You can run our file report against it that we discussed earlier in our demo, and delete or crater against the file you wish to remove from your machines. When it comes to the security of your network, you need the ability to gather the information from your event logs in a timely and efficient manner. Given the length and complexity of event logs, this is no easy task. With User Manager Pro, you can report on the content as well as the status of your event logs, and you will find these options under the Event Logs category. You can report on the status of your event logs under the Event Logs Settings report. Not their content, but what is actually going on with the event logs themselves. How full are they? What are they configured to? Do they need to be cleared? Let's take a look. Here we see all of our application logs, our security logs, and finally our system logs. Here we can see the maximum size our logs are currently configured to, the current size that they actually are, and even a percentage of how full they are. So you can use this information to manage your event logs and clear them through the Manage drop-down list that we discussed earlier in the Management section of our web demonstration. You can report on the content of your event logs by selecting Event Log Entries. We give you the ability to not only centralize all of your event log reports, but the ability to filter through them on a granular level. Choose the event log you wish to report on, the most recent number of entries, the last number of days, or you can report between calendar dates. You can choose to filter for specific event types, event IDs. Let's say we wanted to filter for a specific user named John we suspected of trying to hack into our network. So we can report on failure logon attempts by John. We can schedule to have the reporting turned on to report between these days and have it emailed to us. You can automate it, pre-filter it, and centralize it all for yourself into one report. All of it through User Manager Pro. Let's take a look at our security reporting category. First, let's select a target and select Get Info. Here you will find our ability to further enhance your auditing management capabilities by reporting on what audit settings you have turned on and off on your individual target machines. You can report on the local security policy for each of your individual machines. You can report on explicit or inherited rights for users or groups, including indirectly attained rights, as well as the trust relationships that exist between your domain controllers. Nothing can be more difficult than maintaining the security and functionality of the registries of all of your machines. To do so, you need accurate information on the content of your registries. Suppose you wish to see if a rogue registry key has been created in your machines by viruses or spyware. How would you attain this information on all of your machines? Here's how. Select the machines you wish to report on, select Get Info, and select the registry category. Select Configure Registry Values Report, and input or browse for the keys you wish to report on. Let's say you see some kind of a registry key you wish to clean up out of your machines. Just right-click and delete it. Or, that's right, you can crater against it directly from the report itself, only from Lieberman software. With WMI reporting, User Manager Pro offers you the ability to report on all of your hardware inventory in addition to the software reporting we covered previously in our installed software and file reporting. Let's take a look. You have two reports to choose from. A basic system information report, which will show you basic system information such as system type, BIOS manufacturer and version, and an advanced system information report, which offers you every single Windows WMI category for reporting. Let's take a look. In the top left box, we see all of the various WMI objects available to us to report on. As we select the various objects, we can see that the properties available to us to report on change. So simply select the property you wish to report on, select Add Selected, and those objects appear in the bottom dialog box. These are the objects that will now be reported on. If you wish to add all of the properties available, simply right-click and select Add All Properties. You can also create and save templates. Select Load to select a previously created template, select it, and select Load. This will now be reported on. You can also change the filter options, and as with most functions in User Manager Pro, it's all schedulable. For quick access to help files, select Help, Help Contents. We cover all aspects of User Manager Pro, including screenshots. User Manager Pro, a multi-threaded, agentless, feature-rich management and reporting solution, allowing you to manage your network en masse from a centralized location. From all of us at Lieberman Software, thank you.